No rest for the wicked, as they say.
So I just want to quickly...
That's my bio.
Oh! Did you do this?
No, my wife did this. She thought she'd have an easy life once she got married. That's Little Lulu. Have you heard of Little Lulu?
No.
It's an old American cartoon. And Tommy Tompkins. So he says, we'll have it easy this year, 94. That's their wedding anniversary. And then I go for European election. So it's good for candidates in the European election. After the got about just under 11,000 votes, which was more than some of the main political parties. So then I say, now you take it easy. But not quite. Somebody was putting up posters, kill God, around Levine from New York. We go to art.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did a bit of redecoration. And the guard stuff this says, we're just correcting an art. And then, she raised money for the council, something, 300 euros. Then we were trying to get funding, and the council for women with status wouldn't let us get any funding. And they didn't get any either, so it didn't matter. Then I got the government with these little baby dolls, and they were bringing in abortion information, I think it was. And then we were doing Divine Mercy, what's the religious thing. And she thought that at the end.
Did she do all those drawings herself?
She did it from Little Lulu. You should have a look at Little Lulu. It's very good.
Yeah.
But that was only when we began.
Yeah.
So we didn't have an easy life. In 95 then we began down.
Can I just really quickly, just also because I've got to leave to the airport at 5, so I just want to be clear with everything that I'm doing. Really thank you for taking the time. Basically, I just want to make this very clear. I know you have very strong opinions, and I do want to hear them, but the purpose of this article is, it's not about putting an argument for either side to our readers. The article is about the rollout and the change, right? This huge change in Ireland, and a big part of the story, which I have spoken to lots of other pro-life activists, but I do really want to know what's next for the pro-life movement. And I think you're a big voice. I want to hear about your activism, like a voice in that community. I mean, so I want to. I really
ask the pro-life people. Where did you get my name and number? From Planned Parenthood. Around the corner.
No. I got your name and your number from there was my options and speaking to people, and I know that you're.
But the 77 number is not on the my options, so I was just wondering because we've been doing sidewalk counseling around the corner here.
Yeah.
Do you know the place?
No.
It's just to the right. It's Planned Parenthood.
Oh.
Planned Parenthood. Planned Womanhood. Anyway, we gave out the leaf. That was the only one I had that number on, so I was just wondering if they had given.
Taxi.
Around the corner, yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe you get off there, yeah.
Yeah.
So we did some.
I'm going to record the audio, but it's totally for my purposes so that everything is accurate.
Okay.
If there's anything that you do not want me to publish or off the record, just tell me and I won't.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do you want to see your?
I'm alright. I feel like I've done so much into this. It's outrageous.
This is nice. It's Red Bush.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, it's a bit of vitamin C in it as well. So.
Could you just start by telling me a little bit about yourself? Because I don't even know you have two names.
Eamon Patrick James Murphy.
Okay, so you go by both names.
Well, we've been getting a lot of really ugly language since we put up the My Options website. So I'm anyway, it's out in the open. Eamon Murphy.
So you started that website?
I did. First of all, very quick introduction. Back in '83, I would have campaigned for the amendment to protect the human rights. So that was '83 when they put in the respect for right to life for women and children. So then 94, 95, the current predecessors of the current government party, Fine Gael, brought in the information to bring in the names of the people who killed their children. That was called the Information Act or something like that. So that was 95. That's when I brought the dogs to the government. So 95 then I went to the States to train for the council.
95, you went to the States. Where in the States?
In Chicago and then later in St. Louis. and then in Columbus, Ohio. So Chicago has the biggest this type of outreach in the world. That's the Chicago Women's Centre for Greater Chicago now. And then I brought it to Europe. So we also are in London, Vienna, Madrid, and it's done in Belgium for a while. So that's what we've been doing for the last 24 years.
Thank you very much. So, now,
We spread the word to, there's a little history of how it came to be in
Hello,
England.
good evening. How are you?
We're okay.
Yeah?
Can I just get some water?
Yeah, sure.
Tap water.
Tap water?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a little bit about how it spread to London.
Okay.
Nelson's pillar used to be here. It got blown up by the IRA. The father was joking with his daughter and told her to ask if it's for the pillar, which didn't exist. So we started pulling her out, and that's how we met. And it was an English mother they were saved through health offer. And that's the kind of help that we'd offer women. They have buffer zones now coming in London, but they used to do pervigence there, and this is the kind of help that's available free of charge. You can take all these with you. And basically what we're saying to women, and even if they'll follow your heart, is no woman really wants to do this. And we also tell them about the risks, mental, emotional, physical and spiritual. And this is just one in connection with the single most avoidable risk factor for cancer is elective abortion. And these are studies since 1957. Have you seen the film Hush, this film?
No.
So, you want to take a photograph of that? Would be nice.
no, it's straight away. It's got straight.
Yeah, this is one of the studies on the back.
Okay.
Two groups of rats, pregnant. 77% got breast cancer. And the indicator, 0%. So it's not to do with psychological or anything, it's pure simple anatomical fact. So apart from the fact that having a baby protects you from breast cancer, there's an added insult when you have an abortion, apart from the loss of the pregnancy event. And it's principally after 32 weeks when lactogenesis takes place, that's to produce milk, that's the protection, because the cells are very complex, they're differentiated. But if you interrupt it before that differentiation, you get a very high risk. And it's not the type 4, there's 4 types of lobules. It's the first 3 where the majority of cancers occur. The type 4 are completed after 32 weeks. So it's good research. In fact, there is a paper by Sutherland. Have you heard of him? He was the medical correspondent for the Times of London.
Oh, yeah.
He's a gynecologist, I think. But he was opposed to this, being told and within a year looking at the research he was convinced. And he did it without turn. But you won't get this in the Times today. They've been denying the facts for the last 2 years, campaigning.
So coming back, so now, for the result, firstly, were you surprised at the result of the referendum?
I think there was a lot of dishonesty going on.
I can take these, right?
You can, yeah, that's just a newsletter. And you can take that as well.
Oh, okay.
These are some of the facts that we tell women that we say they have a right to know under informed consent.
Okay. So you were surprised by the result?
Yeah, generally the opinion polls beforehand was giving the majority to the right to life. So to have a 2/3 majority, it was surprising, yeah.
What do you think is the reason?
I think it was rigging, there was a lot of dishonesty.
It was rigging.
I know Soros was involved in funding illegally and they declined people in. A lot of people who would have voted, for example, there was a convent of nuns weren't allowed to vote. I suppose they would be expected to have been living in the convent for 20, 30, 40 years. And they probably thought they would be voting in a particular way, but that was the people around the country. So it's not arbitrary, it's actually a bit more organised.
So you don't think that there has been a shift over the years in the attitudes towards abortion?
There has been a shift, yeah. When we started in, just before I go any further, I don't want to be prying, but there's no history with yourselves. I don't want to be I don't want to know what your history is in terms of abortion. Just, I don't want to be upsetting you. No.
In terms of our own.
Yeah, your own history. I don't want to know.
I won't be upset. No.
You haven't had any.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, but I mean,
So-
even if we had, it's not. We're journalists.
I
so
know,
don't
but I
worry.
still want to upset people. But for example,
We don't get, yeah, exactly.
we would have, back in '95, we would have used and developed a manner of delivering informed consent. So in other words, if you were having any kind of an operation, you have to have informed consent. In other words, if I sold you a car and I didn't tell you there was no engine in it, it would be a void contract. So it would be illegal. The same with abortion. If I told you that there's no link between abortion and breast cancer, that would be a lie. And also the fact that there's 50 years or more, 1957, and also more recent ones in Southeast Asia, China, where they don't have the pill, they get married young, they have children very quickly, breastfeed. So they don't have the complications we have with the pill or later childbirth. So it's very clear. Some of the studies in India, 20 times the risk of breast cancer after abortion, especially because they kill a lot of the girls. Sex selection, they want boys, you know. And similar in China with the one-child policy. So there has been a change. Just to go back to your question, for example, we use the thing as the same 3 questions. In the informed consent, you have to cover the nature of pregnancy, the nature of abortion, the risks, the procedures involved, and any complications that could occur if they're supported by even one peer-reviewed published research paper. So that's what we do with all this stuff. But to present the nature of pregnancy, we ask 3 questions. The first question is, what is pregnancy? And most people will say, having a baby. We would go through the development of the baby, the whole 9 yards, for 6 months, for 3 months, sorry, 2/3 of development is taking place. You have brain waves, heartbeat at 18 days. The last 6 months, just really adding food and water. So we do a little bit of that, we show an ultrasound, and then we're always looking for their answer to the questions. We don't want to put the answer into them. So again, the first question, what is pregnancy? The second question, what will abortion do to your baby? What do you think they'd say normally? Normal answer?
I mean, I didn't.
Anything at all.
What?
There's no wrong answers. Just imagine what
It would end the pregnancy.
it would end the pregnancy. Would the baby continue to live outside? No. So what would that do to the baby? If it's not continuing to live, it will.
End his life. You want me to
Yeah.
say kill the baby? That's what you want me to say.
No, I
but-
don't want to. But what you're saying is
But is
very
that what-
normal. It's not what I want, but I want to hear a natural reaction.
Yeah.
Like people can be defensive. We don't want people to be defensive.
No, I know, but I just
Yeah.
feel like you're trying to put what, like,
No.
even in the way you just frame that, you know.
Yeah,
But
you
that's,
see,
is
that
that
was
what?
interesting because it illustrates what we normally hear. And you know, most people, they're just ordinary, simple girls. They're not trained in semantics or whatever. But in the early days, you had very simple, straightforward answers. Nowadays, you might get somebody saying it's a fetus.
So when you
And,
said that there used to be
it would-
straightforward answers, would most people say it would kill the baby back then?
Yeah, they still do. They
Okay.
still do, but they might sometimes be a bit more reluctant to use the word kill. Whereas in the earlier days, they'd be straight out there. They
Okay.
wouldn't cover it up so much. But
That's interesting.
sometimes they'd like what you just said, well, it will end the pregnancy, which is a process. There's not a person involved. It's a bit more impersonal. Then, you know, you have to make sure they understand because what that actually means. Sometimes, you know, verbal engineering precedes social engineering. You know, Confucius said if I was to become prince, I would restore the meaning of words. That was my election campaign in '94 for the European election, in which I was arrested in Manchester.
Really?
I was arrested and they didn't print it in the papers here because I was arrested at an abortion mill. I went in and I was offering help to the women inside, and it was just they didn't want to give me any coverage. But anyway, the language is what precedes the social engineering. So we have been this neuro-linguistic program for the last 20 years, since '83 in fact, through the media, and a lot of it has to do with RTE, journalism, Irish Times. But anyway, that reaction of saying it's a pregnancy, ends the pregnancy, you need to have to say, do you really understand what does it do to the baby? Well, it takes it out, and will it go on living? No. So therefore, what does the baby is? And they would say killed, because if they don't understand that, that's what the law says that was brought in 2080. They don't have informed consent if they don't know that. So that we would say yes, it will kill the baby. This is an example of the manner in which it's done. And this is an early abortion, up to 8 weeks, and this is between 8 to 12 weeks.
So you showed them these pictures?
Yes.
Can I take it?
Okay.
Yes.
There was a
Take a picture of
photographer
it.
as well. It's
Yeah.
fascinating to me.
So we would explain there's the tweezers. So that actual size, I mean, tweezers maybe a little bit smaller with it. And these are obviously the arm, the leg. You have to reassemble the parts to make sure everything has been removed, because if anything is left behind, you have to have another procedure, because you can get septicemia, you can get a whole body infection in some people. At the informed consent stage, I would explain that you can have many different types of reaction from one extreme to another. And I'll give you the most extreme. And everybody's wishful thinking and saying, maybe I'll feel bad, but I'll get over it. So I'll give you an example in New York. This happened in New York. A young girl, she was either 17 or 19. She went for a pregnancy test at Planned Parenthood. They did a test, told her she was pregnant. She was at college, she didn't want to tell her parents. She thought she would feel bad. But she decided to have the procedure in the clinic on the same day. 3 days later, she committed suicide. So this is a true case. So I'm using that to illustrate how extreme and unexpected a reaction can be. And you know, you can say in her case, the cure that she said was worse than the ailment, though pregnancy is not an ailment, but you know the expression, the cure is worse than the ailment. But in fact, they did a post-mortem on her, and she had never been pregnant. So I would say to you, would she's a normal girl, do you think if she had been told, like they should have told her that they didn't take out anything, that she'd never been pregnant, would she have taken her life?
I mean, I don't know. I don't
No.
know what her psychological, I mean, she may have had depression.
No,
or
she's
maybe-
a normal, average girl. But most ordinary people, I'm not saying you're not ordinary, most non-professional people who have, they don't need to be too careful, but say, not at all, she'd still be alive. I think that's a reasonable, common sense reaction. So, purpose of the illustration is to say how you need to be fully informed. So that would be how we would introduce the 3 questions. And then, if they don't want to see the picture, we just cover it. But frequently, years later, women may be walking along the street and they see these pro-lifers, pictures or whatever, and they see the reality. And they didn't have informed consent. And then they realize that this actually killed a human being, a baby. And that's far more traumatic in every way than if somebody is informed at this stage. So even though all of the people we meet do not keep the babies, the majority do, but of those who go ahead and have the abortion, it's less traumatic. If they know, for example, that they could be depressed, suicidal, have post-traumatic stress, flashbacks, all of those things, when they happen, I'll give you an example of a girl who had 2 abortions in Stokes in England, and she started seeing blood on her computer screen. She lived here in Dublin, and she thought she was going crazy. But she had been told no side effects and there's something wrong with her if she has these reactions. So she's blaming herself. And when we told her post-traumatic stress, this is normal, you have impacted emotion, you have triggers that bring a vacuum cleaner to be a trigger, for example, because of the suction machine, but they don't make the connection because of the trauma. The impacted emotion is buried, so it has to be released.
So
that's the importance of being informed beforehand.
So is your perspective that like
It's
the
the
reason?
third question.
Okay, sorry.
So the first question was, sorry, what's your name again?
It's Ceylan.
Ceylan.
Yeah.
This is
No,
what
I
we
have a
said.
very weird
So,
name.
Ceylan.
Ceylan.
The first question we said, what is pregnancy? And as you said, having a baby. In this case, your first, or whatever. And the second question was, what will abortion do to your baby? And as you said, eventually, it will kill the baby.
I didn't say that. I said that's what you want me to say.
No, okay.
But yeah, that's
that's
what
what a lot of
most
people
people
say.
say. But that's what a lot of people do say.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I won't go on living, literally.
Yeah.
Or you don't call it a baby, call it, what do you want to
No,
call
no,
it?
this isn't about me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Anyway,
but I
that's
didn't.
what most people
That's
say.
what most people
It will-
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've seen how that would look, what it does to the baby,
Yeah.
in the picture. Also, the pain involved, would you get an anesthetic? You have an anesthetic?
I haven't thought about it. I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know.
no, that's normal answer. Most people would say get a local anesthetic or a full anesthetic, but they generally avoid full anesthetic because you can go into a coma with blood loss. You go into a coma, you may not die. Usually a local anesthetic. Part B, the question is, do you think that will cover your baby in terms of pain during the abortion?
So that's the question that you asked.
So the answer is no, it doesn't cover the baby. There is, just want to give you this research paper. It's by Gianna Koulopoulos. Sounds Greek.
Yeah, I was going to say
Let's write
that's
that down.
I can remember Gianna Koulopoulos, 1994. So they tested, this is not any kind of sadism. They wanted to give a blood transfusion to a baby in the womb at about 8 weeks, and they found the baby had, at that time, at 8 weeks, had a 590% pain response. So the pain response is measured, it's called nocioception. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
the perception of pain.
Yeah.
So 590% is 5 to 6 times more than you or I would have, because the pain inhibitors don't develop until later in childhood. So they feel the pain much more than we do. Third question then is, having gone through what is pregnancy, having a baby, what will abortion do to the baby, as you said, or it's normally said, it will kill the baby, and as you've seen, generally speaking, in a painful manner. The third question, and would you say that that's fair to the baby?
And what do people say? Usually, what's the usual answer to that? No.
Yeah, most people would be honest
people
and be
say no.
straight up. They'd say,
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone say, yeah, that's fair to the baby.
Yeah.
Not after having seen what it does.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have what's called conflicted decision or ambivalence. So that is a predictor of post-abortion syndrome or of a severe degree. And we do have a lot of research, and maybe I'll give it to you if I can find it here, that if you have a conflicted decision, that's a predictor of psychological problems. If you have an ambivalent, if I kick a ball across the road, is that good or bad? No problem. But if you have a conflict, somebody's going to die, you're going to cause pain, suffering. No, it's wrong. Well, what about me? There's conflict. What about my life? Haven't I right? You know, this kind of thing. So you have conflict. Generally speaking, we know people that have high risk factors which need to be screened for. Development problems in upbringing, for example, abuse, childhood abuse, lack of full psychological development in adolescence, pressure from a boyfriend, a mother, or another significant. So you have screening factors that should be gone through. But generally speaking, when there's secrecy involved, which is frequently secrecy, for example, a lot of research shows that if 5 people know about the pregnancy, it's very, very rare for the abortion to go ahead. Secrecy is a problem. Moral conflict is a problem. In other words, to say it's not right. Religious conflict, people do have, even atheists, have a religious problem with God after abortion. And they'll say they don't believe in abortion. So no matter what religion you're coming from, there is a spiritual dimension to everyone, which we explain. Holistic approach, you're looking at spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. Mental has to do with your perception of reality, to do with psychosis or denial. Emotion has to do with how you could feel afterwards. So we'll go through all of those, the research papers and all the evidence then on physical potential effects, including breast cancer. The result of that is the majority of people have their babies, and we would offer them financial help if they need it, or accommodation or whatever. Not that we would fundraise for that purpose, but we put in touch with contact with people who do. Yeah.
So, my question to you is, so your mission now, I mean, especially now that it's legal in Ireland, your mission is to inform people, right? To inform women with all of this information.
Mission statement, I'll give you the mission statement.
Okay.
And it's from a spiritual point of view. I'm a Christian. Have you a religious background?
I don't wish to share my religious
No,
background.
I think
It's quite personal.
Yeah, but do you have any kind of belief in
I believe, yeah.
life to come?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to know. I'm just saying, you see if you can appreciate where we're coming from. But this is my the mission statement. True and with Mary. You know Mary, Mariam?
No, I know. I went to Catholic boarding school.
I have a little medal here. You went to Catholic?
Boarding school,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. So then, you know.
Run by nuns, so I'm very. I know who Mary is.
So this the mission statement, true and with Mary, mediatrix of all grace. That means she's in the middle between God and us, and she gives all the favors. True with Mary, mediatrix of all grace, to mediate the mission of motherhood. So these women who are coming in pregnant, their mothers don't become conception. So we're just helping them to accept their mission. Because if you don't fulfill your mission in life, your life's a failure.
Yeah.
But our mission statement is to mediate their mission using the most effective, morally acceptable means. No fraud, no lies. It's forbidden by a. You can come back to
Can
me.
I come back to the
Come back to
fraud
that.
and the lies?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm emphasising it, because we are not allowed to tell a single lie to anybody. Now let me finish the statement. I know people have. So we've had this problem with pro-lifers and very religious people as well. But basically we're saying using the most effective means. So we don't run around saying, hi, we're pro-lifers, we're Christians, we're goodies. Because none of those babies that have been saved, thousands already, in England, Spain and so on, they'd all be dead. They would all be like public teams. And that's not charity. My understanding of charity is that it can be silent.
Yeah.
This is really interesting.
Just get some.
I mean, you can take photos
Yeah,
here
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
I just need to get to we're not there. We're not.
Yeah.
Cool, but I think so I can take it.
I'll bring you back when I start it.
I don't know if we'll be able to publish it though. Just because of the graphic.
No,
Yeah,
where
oh
is
yeah,
she?
no, it's
What country is she in? She's in New York, I think.
I shouldn't be recording on
No, I didn't
phone
reply.
call.
Will you reply? I said ask her for the mobile number. Ask her for
Find
the
out about his washing.
yeah, good stuff. I'll check it now shortly. There's another couple of replies. Okay. Really good. Because we've been busy with clients and emails from New Mexico to New South Wales.
Oh wow.
So we've gotten bigger in our reach. But anyway, the mission statement. It's a bit long, but every word counts, and we've done it as short as we can.
Okay.
So our mission is to do this in union with a lady, and she would do it for Jesus, and to do it in the most effective, morally acceptable means to reach the women, and to inform them, and to help them. So we cannot help them if we don't inform them, and we can't inform them if we don't reach them. That's basically it. Shoot.
Okay. Just in terms, your website is very misleading.
Everything. Have you heard of WYSIWYG?
Of who?
WYSIWYG?
No.
What you see is what you get.
Well,
WYSIWYG. It's a kind of a computer
Yeah,
term,
I know.
you know.
I'm trying to visualize.
WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. In our website, everything is true.
but it.
I'll tell you what could be misleading though. If you go on to Planned Parenthood, Planned Womanhood, they tell you everything.
I'm
There's
talking
no
about the
danger.
My Options website, by the way. Is that the one you're talking about? We're talking about the same website, right?
No,
My
let's-
Options
Let's
website.
compare. Let's compare the real myoptions.website that's us with the phony one, which
Can
is
I
the
just
government
finish
one.
my question? Before I just want
What I'm just saying, they are fake to the core. They
How are
don't
they
tell
fake?
women any of the dangers. They don't mention this, for example, this poor 15-year-old girl killed by legal abortion. It's all safe, legal abortion. This wasn't safe. She wasn't told. Neither was this woman at this point. And that's all legal in England and in America.
I know. I just want to
So
say one very simple thing.
our health service is not telling us. We
Okay.
are.
Okay, but this is what I mean when I say I think your website is misleading. Is if I was, just forget me as a journalist, right? As a woman, if I was pregnant, and I'm sure lots of women Google stuff, right? So you Google like free ultrasound, and say your website comes up.
We do free ultrasound.
Okay, but I'm just saying, I'm looking.
Yeah.
As a woman who, say I'm pregnant and I actually don't know which way I'm going to go at this point,
Yes.
but I'm not sure I'm in a very difficult situation and stuff, and I just.
We're the people to go.
But let me explain. If I went onto that website, your website, My Options, it would appear like if I did want an abortion, it looks like you would offer that route, right? It does. I mean, it looks like, because you say, are you considering, but, if I did come to you.
Can we look up the website here just briefly?
Yeah, of course.
So basically, I'll tell you what it's. You've looked at the whole website.
Yeah.
So basically, it's
Do
saying.
you want to pull it up just because I'm recording? Or can we pull
Yeah,
it
no,
up?
I'll do it on this. Can you do
the
it?
internet
Yeah.
one.
Basically, what we say is what we do, and where are we? This is the website email. These are emails from all over the world that we've got since we went up.
Yeah, but I just
And
mean
they're all
okay.
looking at the website and they're saying, for example, I would like to terminate my pregnancy. That's in the United States somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We would reply, can you give us your phone number? We'll get somebody to talk to you on the ground.
Okay.
And they will be offered every help they need.
Do most people get in touch through the website?
Through my options website. Yeah. So the first foreign one was the Albuquerque, New Mexico. And then we've had more all over the States, England, Berlin, and then today New South Wales.
As far as it gets.
We've had a lot of abuse as well.
This is what I mean. So, like, the type of abortion procedure depends on how far a pregnancy has progressed,
Yes.
right? So it does appear like, if I did want to have an abortion, that you would be,
We're talking really about all you need to be fully informed. We'll give you an ultrasound. We'll tell you what you need to know to be fully informed, which nobody else will tell you on the planet.
Okay, but if I came to you and I just said, despite everything you've told me, I still want to have an abortion, would you say, okay, goodbye? Or would you say, hey, I'm going to refer you to a doctor? You would never say, I'll refer you to a doctor to get an abortion, right? But on the website, it appears like you would also let me go down that route. Like, it looks like you're like a family planning consultation. Clinic.
We do family planning. They don't do family planning at Planned Parenthood. They do family planning.
Sorry.
But we help to plan a family.
I just want to fully
Yeah.
understand. So,
But just on that, just something you just said there, you asked, can you rewind?
so sorry, I just meant if I come to you first,
Yeah,
also
yeah.
if I turn up we went to the clinic. That's
Yeah.
the clinic. So you would talk me through these 3 steps, right? That you just
The
said.
3
The
questions.
3 questions. Sorry.
Well, it's a bit more of an introduction than straight into the 3 questions.
Of course. Of course. Sorry.
So basically, I would show you a consent form for an abortion, which is one of these. Anyway, I just explain what we do, and the consent form and the information they are obliged to be told under international law.
Yeah.
In other words, to have a fully informed consent, which is the law here now. And I'm very happy at the current situation in Ireland. The day of the referendum, when the counts were coming in, there's a photograph of me. I'm smiling from ear to ear. Now, there was a kind of a crucifixion moment, but there was a resurrection the same day.
Okay.
And you know what I mean by resurrection. This was new life. This meant more women than ever would be saved from cancer and suicide and depression and drug addiction and abandonment than ever before this law came in. I can prove that to you if you have time, but we don't have a lot of time. But what it means to me, we're seeing now, even before the beginning of the new year, we were from the My Options website, we were seeing women who were looking for abortions. I can show you the video of the first baby that was saved this year, and the baby's actually laughing on the ultrasound. But what that means is...
So you're saying you've been very successful in changing women's minds?
Well, the great thing is, when women now, before were going directly to England, they didn't have the chance to do it, unless they came to us.
Yeah.
They were going through, I'll tell you it's the true story, they went around the corner to Planned Parenthood. This girl who came to us afterwards, she was only 16. She was a minor, she didn't tell her mother. They picked up the phone and booked her in for an abortion, illegally. They're very good at being illegal. She told her mother, she came to us, she went back to them again. They picked up the phone illegally, booked her in for an abortion. She was only 16. She came back to us. Anyway, the baby's born and about 10 years old now. So they were not in the slightest bit interested in that girl and offered her no help and told her there was no damage possible from abortion. this is frequently what they say here. Nothing, no death, no risk whatsoever. Post-abortion syndrome, it's a fantasy. That's what they're telling women. It's all lies. Everything to do with killing and full of lies. That's what you're following when you go to them. And they won't get it from the HSE. They won't get it anywhere else except through us. So
I've just shown up to your clinic.
Yeah.
Does it run over? Is it open? So when we went, it was closed.
it's only by appointment.
It's only by appointment. And
We
who's the
don't get
consultant?
any funding from anybody. There's no funding, so we can't
Do
pay
you don't get
people.
funding from the US?
No, we've no. I have this newsletter. We send it out with about 1,500 people, maybe 1,800 around Ireland, and we haven't published one since last April.
Really?
So we're very bad because
So
we're
is
on.
it all volunteers?
Yes, and we're all so taken up with work, we haven't time to write newsletters.
Work, but
Or
just like
building.
normal day job.
Huh?
When you say work, just your normal day job.
No, I mean
Oh,
with
just
the,
all of this.
with the
Okay.
women or the.
Sorry.
You know, I'm
Yeah,
missing emails to New South Wales or
Yeah.
Denver or whatever. That's a lot of work, just making the connections with people on the ground, emailing them, finding where there's a local centre who do an ultrasound and help them. So it's a lot more work now than we even had before when we were dealing over the years thousands of women.
Yeah. So who pays the rent for the clinic?
This pays the rent, but
pays
we
the
haven't
rent,
paid the
okay.
rent for 4 months.
Gosh.
Since October, November, December, January.
Okay. So it's by appointment only, and are you the consultant? So if I were to come,
You wouldn't see me.
I wouldn't see you.
I don't counsel.
No, but you pick up the phone.
I do, because we had so much vulgar language and really blue language, I wouldn't put it on a woman to listen to it.
Yeah.
And on one occasion a woman did answer it, and she was abused, but that was the accident.
Gosh, yeah.
So I'm taking the brunt. I can handle it. I have a hard neck.
So who's the? So if I
So we have women around the country, all over Ireland, Dublin.
the one on Berkeley Street, do you have like a woman there? Who's
Well,
like
we're
a
there at the
consultant?
moment, like the ultrasonographer is there, the
Yeah.
person who does the ultrasound is there now.
Okay.
We are also rolling out ultrasound around the whole country. So from the north, from Donegal to Cork in the south, we've had training for ultrasound, which we're training people all over the country to do ultrasound in the doctor's clinics. So this is a great
so since
opportunity.
a referendum, you're growing.
You're growing,
And
yeah.
you're, yeah. Okay.
In fact, it's grown faster than ever before in the last 25 years. We just maybe I can show you the if this is on. Let me just see, is that connected? What time is it?
I was just checking on my Facebook.
Yeah, there's
Comes and goes, I think.
we have a what do you call it? A Facebook page.
If you just give me the name, I can look it up.
Women Need to Know.
Women need to know. Okay.
So I have a few pages, but I have my own page, Eamon Murphy, right? This is the ultrasound training that we're doing at the moment. This is an abortion agency in Galway. You were in Galway.
Yeah.
Did you meet these people?
Wait, which one?
The Silent Seven, they're called.
No.
They were standing outside the Galvia clinic.
Yeah, oh, the protesters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met some of them, but
So-
not from this kind. I met like the,
Yeah.
this young. Yeah.
But they are great. From our point of view, the doctors don't want to get that on the doorstep. So they'll send them to us for an ultrasound.
Okay.
I met a doctor today, an abortion referral doctor, a Muslim, and he said he is against abortion, but he signed up to do abortion. But he said he'll do abortions until the heartbeat is there. He said that's the Muslim teaching, is you can do it before the heartbeat, which I don't think is correct. But anyway, he, I think they say up to 40 days when, according to their scripture, the quickening occurs or animation. Anyway, he is a Sunni Muslim.
yeah.
So at the same time, he doesn't agree. He's not an Orthodox Sunni because he says he would do abortion in the case of rape, whereas the Sunni religion says you can't do it at all, or something like that. But he will now send them to us for the ultrasound. So I said to him also, we will give them informed consent. In other words, if he doesn't do informed consent, he could end up in jail. 14 years imprisonment under the new law.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, we're writing to doctors and saying, Section 21, we can do that for you. So we're going to see far more women than ever before. Because basically, like for example, if you look at the research on the incidence of breast cancer in the UK since 1967, this is the way it went up. The exact same is the incidence of abortion. They are directly related. And especially if you zoom in on the age group from 24 to 35. It's a 10-year latency period, so it takes 10 years for the cancer to show, and it's more deadly than normal breast cancer, which you get in your 50s or post-menopause.
Could I have I'm far
Yeah.
away, so let me have
Sorry.
a little look.
You can
Sorry, it's a Samsung. I'm useless with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Just to
had
see the
two
years on
together,
that.
but I couldn't get them back on the page for some reason. But there is a great actuarian. You know what an actuarian is? They do statistics.
Yeah.
His name is Patrick Carroll. And he has done all the research, the Cambridge group.
Okay.
I have it on the
So,
phone
yeah,
here
I'm
as well.
done.
So you can get it, I can email it to you if you want.
So if after all of this,
That's the breast cancer rate.
Right.
10 years after the 67 Act.
okay, I'll go onto your
Yeah.
your Facebook and have a look. But in terms of so typically, how long would one of these consultations take?
About an hour.
An
About
hour.
an hour.
And
you
at
know.
the end of it, there are some women who they just know what, they just know what they're going to do, right? And if at the end of it, if they come to you and they say, look, I'm still going to have an abortion, then do you just like send them on their way?